Inmate brutally attacks and stomps 2 female prison guards. All right. I am a former correction officer. This inmate, his name is Joseph Hunter. Okay. He's 38 years old. He has a violent history. Okay. So let's just get into it. All right.
When you go out there, man, please don't get a white shirt, bro.
A white shirt
man, tell me it's an emergency,
because
bro.
of a shakedown.
It ain't about the shakedown.
Okay,
I don't care. You can do that every day.
What's it about that?
Come on, like now. You just woke me up out my sleep for no reason.
It's a random shakedown.
I haven't disrespect you. I never had a jack ticket in my life.
Okay. What does that have to do with me?
Shakedown,
it is though.
It do got everything to do.
Shook down since you guys moved in there.
Come on. You thought a motherfucker was laughing at you earlier. You looked at me and then looked like this. Like, come on, man, we all see.
What are you talking about? You need to step off. Go somewhere else. I don't give a fuck about that tape on the ground. You need to go somewhere else.
Please stop cussing at me. I'm not cussing at you. Please
hey, go ahead and just cuff up then.
Please stop cussing at me.
Oh, that's the R15 12S. Go ahead, cuff up. Turn around.
Please don't do that.
Turn around and cuff up.
Please don't do that.
Turn around and cuff up.
Cuff up for what?
Because you want to see white shirts? They got white shirts and say,
I'm just asking.
Turn around.
See, she escalated the situation. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, the inmate isn't right. He's wrong. Okay, but she's not de-escalating. She's escalating, and I'm gonna show you something right here. The inmate, you see, he looks down, right? The reason he looks down is because she's getting out her pepper spray. Okay, that's why he's looking down. All right, and when this starts to escalate, okay, so the inmate is upset because he got a shakedown. Okay, what inmates call a shakedown is it's a search. Okay, prison guards have to do searches every day. Okay, I don't know about this county jail, right? I was a state CO, so I was in New York State. But I could tell you how shakedowns went with the state. Every officer that worked a housing unit would have to do 2 searches every shift. Okay, so that's 4 searches a day, right, on a unit, right? Because it's 2 inmates per shift, right? If you're working 7 to 3, you're gonna do 2. And then you work in 3 to 11, you're gonna do 2, and then on the overnight, you do a common area. You don't actually search cells, you do common area searches. So the bathroom, the day room, the laundry room, if there's a porch, out on the porch, the rec area, whatever, stuff like that. Now, the way that it worked with us is that, above, the lieutenant would have a whole list of searches that got to be done on the housing units. Now, when your supervisor comes, he's either, if he's gonna do his rounds, a supervisor got to do like 2 rounds. So either on the first round that the supervisor does, your sergeant, when he does his round and sign your logbook, he's gonna tell you, hey, you got to search cell 7 and cell 19 or whatever, right? And be like, okay. And then you have a logbook or whatever, and then, you would write those down and then you would go do your search. Now, when you go do your search, you go find the inmate, right? Like, let's say I'm gonna search cell 7, right? Go find the inmate. He may not be in his cell. He might be in the day room area, like this. You see this common area like that? He might be in somewhere like that or whatever. But if I'm gonna go search him, whatever, me personally, I let the inmates know. So, hey, Johnson, come on, let's go. Open up your locker. You the search or whatever. Okay, boom. Now they could watch their search. Okay, so they would sit by the door and they would watch you do the search. Okay, and you're searching for anything: contraband, weapons, drugs, hooch. Hooch is alcohol that they make in prison. anything, right? You're searching their lockers, the bed area, the mattresses, the pillows, right? Not the pillowcases, but the actual pillows themselves, because they will open up little parts of the pillow and stuff things inside to hide it, right? And maybe they got a shank in there or something, something to poke somebody up with. So you want to search that. You want to search the mattresses, make sure you're not feeling nothing hard or whatever, because the same thing, right? So boom, that's a shakedown. All right. So apparently what happened was this guy is a modeled inmate. Okay. So he thinks that just because he's never had any tickets or anything like that, that he's not supposed to get a shakedown, right? They're not supposed to search his stuff, right? No, it don't work like that. Okay. Just because you a modeled inmate, you still got to get searched just like everybody else. And it's random. Okay. It's random. But he feels like he's being targeted, which I don't know. I don't know. Right now, he was apparently sleeping. So they woke him up to do a search, pat him down, whatever, yada, 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 stuff like that. So when he says he wants to speak to a white shirt is a supervisor. Okay. So he's yelling, he said, "Hey, Bama, when you go out there, make sure tell a white shirt to stop by." Now, Bama could probably be another inmate, right? But he has a job, or maybe he's going to another part of the jail. So he's like, "Yo, stop a sergeant or something and tell him we need him in here." You know what I mean? So that's what that is about. Now, a way to de-escalate this, honestly, would be for her to tell him, "Listen, it's a random shakedown. I know you've been a modeled inmate, no tickets and all that stuff, which is greatly appreciated, but you got to get searched just like everybody else." Okay. And, you keep talking, he's probably going to be upset. If it make you feel better, okay, I have a sergeant explain that to you, because you're not being targeted. And, it's just with everybody. You're not being targeted. I think you feel like you're being singled out, but you're not being singled out. You're just a random search for the day. And you haven't been searched in a while, or whatever the case may be. Something like that, to de-escalate it. But her saying, step off, you could say that. That's fine. Okay. But he's also within the right of being there, technically, through the rules, because you could be anywhere, but you got to be behind that red line or whatever. You can't be too close to the podium, right? And that's what he's explaining. And she's like, "I don't give a F about that line," and da da da. And that's where it starts to escalate. That's the first sign of escalating, not de-escalating. And then the second sign is that now she's getting out her pepper spray. So, see? You see it in her hand. Hold on.
Turn around and cuff up.
Hold on. It's in her hand. That black can right there, that's in her hand, and you see him looking down. That's the pepper spray. So she got her pepper spray out. So she's asking him, cuff up. But it's a smart remark, because it's like, she says, "You want to see a white shirt? Well, they got a white shirt in seg. Seg means segregation. That's the box. That's the hole, whatever you want to call it."
15, 12 less. Hey, cuff up. Turn around.
Please don't do that.
Turn around and cuff up.
Please don't do that.
Turn around and cuff up.
Cuff up for what?
Because you want to see white shirt? They got white shirts in seg.
See? Cuff up for what? Because you want to see a white shirt? They got a white shirt in seg. They got a white shirt in segregation in the box. Come on, that's you escalating it now. Like that's uncalled for.
Because you want to see white shirt? They got white shirts in seg. Turn around.
I'm just asking you, please don't
Turn
do that.
around and cuff up. It's the last time I'm going to tell you. It's the last time I'm saying it.
Okay, it's about to get crazy. Now keep in mind, his previous charges: involuntary manslaughter, attempted murder, felony assault, and aggravated robbery. Okay, these are his priors. All right.
Turn around and cuff up.
Please don't.
Cuff up.
Listen to the sounds.
Get the fuck off her. Get the fuck off her.
They can't do nothing. Now the guys come. Look, her tooth is gone. Knocked her tooth out. Knocked her tooth out. Wheezing. It's intense. It's intense. The inmate is 100% wrong for what he did. But the officers could have de-escalated that situation though. The officer, that one officer that's kind of dykish or whatever, she could have de-escalated that situation. Okay? This is the inmate that you're dealing with that pretty much got nothing to lose. This guy is now serving 32 years or whatever, right? For some other, whatever he was in there for, and it's like now he's got these extra charges, about the two assaults on the officers and stuff like that or whatever. But this is an inmate that already he ain't coming home. You know what I mean? Like he know the charge. This is in county jail, but he know the charges that he was already facing. So he know that he ain't coming home no time soon. And when guys can handle things a little bit different, but ladies, no. You call for backup before you trying to cuff somebody and stuff like that. No, you call for the guys and then y'all could try to cuff them up if you want to cuff them up and stuff like that or whatever. But you make sure girls have to carry themselves and typically they're better at communicating. Like female officers, correction officers are typically great at communicating, like, talking people down and out of situations and this and that. They're typically great. But when you have this one who is kind of masculine and, I mean, it ain't gonna, there was nothing them girls could have did. Nothing. There's nothing they could have done that was gonna stop this caged animal, man. This guy is an animal, okay? And officers, for the most part, all of them don't know what each inmate is there for and stuff like that or whatever, but you poked the right one today. Like I said, the inmate is 100% wrong, but the officers, she was supposed to de-escalate that situation. It shouldn't have even got to that far like that. Yeah, inmates don't like being searched. They don't like being woken up, whatever. But hey, it is what it is. Look, it's your turn. You on the board today. Come on, man. You know what we got to do. Come on. Oh, but I'm tired. Come on. Well, the faster I get it done, the faster you go back to sleep. All right, I got my job to do. Let's come on now. Well, you targeted me. It wouldn't even turn into nothing like that. You know what I mean? Like, you grab the inmate, pat him down. Look, you the random one for the day. Got to pat you down. Boom, boom, boom. Here, you can watch your cell being searched or whatever the case may be. And that's that. Like, it's really not that big of a deal with most inmates being searched. They know what come with the program. But this inmate feels like he's entitled because he's a modeled inmate. So what? So what? They still get searched, just like everybody else. But this could have easily been avoided, I think, honestly. And a lot of people like to talk to a supervisor, and it makes the situations a little bit better. Just like on the street, you hear suspects, man, let me speak to a supervisor. It's the same thing in prison. Okay, they would rather speak to a white shirt and have a white shirt tell you the same thing that the officer just told you. But it'll whatever. They just feel like it, whatever. Okay. But she should have called the white shirt. She should have called, if she was going to lock him up, but you call for backup first. You know, because you guys are females. You guys can't, you know. Now, if that was two men, yeah, they could have cuff up. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know. But two females like that, no. Like, nah. You need, because they couldn't do nothing. This ain't one of them inmates that's sitting there eating Pop-Tarts all day. You see, this guy is in shape. He's fit. Okay? This ain't one of those. So then you already bringing out your spray and everything. That's all intensifying it. Like, damn. You know, and then the smart ass remarks, you want to speak to a white shirt? Well, they got a white shirt and seg. Why I got to go to segregation? Because I'm just expressing my frustration about how I feel like I'm being targeted. And I want to speak to a white shirt about this matter. And then you coming off cussing at me and this and that, and okay. This guy know he ain't coming home no time soon, so it's lit. So you know, like I said, this is a different video. I know I stopped it a lot. I know I talked a lot. But you know, hopefully, yeah, maybe you learn something from this or whatever. I don't know. But hopefully I brought some insight to this video or whatever about learning about different things, about how searches go and all that type of stuff, whatever. I don't get to do these type of videos too often just because prison body cam footage don't come out. Okay? And there's a reason they don't come out. Okay? So, but anyway, man, officers, they get a 2, man. They get a 2. I ain't gonna lie. This could have been avoided. This definitely could have been avoided. The ShyGotEm Correctional Facility is now open, where we specialize in act right and getting them together. If you want to become an officer, check out the YouTube membership. If you want to be a sergeant or above, check out the Patreon. Your support helps the channel keep going, and I hope to see you in lineup.